Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
93.7 The Ticket veteran and Bill Callahan fan club president, Jake Bakoven.
I love Billy's team.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Strick and Bob. Hold up.
Happy Tuesday to everybody out there. This is On the Block here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter. A lot of all the different streams that we have here. I'm Jake Bachman. He is Eric Strickland, Husker Hall of Famer, longtime NBA vet. Strick, it's kind of interesting. We've been almost everybody's been talking all day about Dylan Raiola and his commitment to Ohio State. Of course, Dylan Raiola, the son of Dominic Raiola, the Husker great here, also nephew of Donovan Raiola, the offensive line coach for Nebraska, newly hired this past offseason. And so it seems like a bit of a punch in the gut if you're a Nebraska fan that he commits as before he even gets to his junior year of high school to Ohio State. What do you read of that?
Well, see, I take a little bit different perspective on it. And some people may think my way of thinking is kind of abstract and a little bit unique and different, but I don't tend to look at the surface of situations like, most people do, or fans or individuals that have a tie or a closeness to a specific situation or program or marriage or whatever the case may be, right? My thing is this: people commit early. There are always early commits, but the different thing about an early commit is that it opens the door for a potential decommit, right? You commit, it's verbal. It's not nothing signed on paper. It's a verbal commitment, and a lot of people stick to those commitments, but we also can look and see that a lot of people also decommit, whatever the case may be. It may be a coaching change. It may be a situational change. It may be something that happens on campus, or something they get word of something, or they just lose interest over the course of time, right? So my thinking I think that Dylan Raiola is a pretty smart kid. I think he has his head on straight. I think he's solid. He comes from great stock and background. I think he's a smart kid. But here's the way I would do it if I was a kid like that who was a smart kid. I would commit early. I committed early to the University of Nebraska, although I stayed the course. But you commit early to lock yourself in this situation and see what happens from afar with whatever other programs that you may have interest with, right? The consistency of Ohio State. The consistency of what they're bringing. They're going to find themselves landing top-notch recruits consistently. They're going to be, the talk of always finding themselves in the top tiers of the top 25. But it allows you the opportunity to look at a program, the system, the teams that you're going to have interest in. You can be consistent in where you're going to possibly be, but also have a look out there at the landscape as everything is is happening. So I can assure you that if the situation like Bob we had yesterday, Bob called in on the Honda Lincoln hotline. He was very optimistic on the show yesterday. He basically stated that Nebraska is going to shock the world, and there's going to be a total breakout season with an 8+ win season. And I can assure you that Dylan Raiola is looking at that, if that does happen, and he may take another look. If I'm his uncle, I'm saying, the same thing. Hey, man, just keep a lookout, keep an eye out. You're going to see him at maybe Christmas, or you're going to see him at different breaks, or whatever the case may be, whenever the family gets together, Thanksgiving. And then at that point, he still has time to reassess as to, the possibility of a Nebraska signing or decommittal to Ohio State. Now, if Nebraska breaks out and has a 10 or 11 win season, it might be a different look. But if they fall short and they come up with 5 or 6 wins, then, the staff that's there right now, Whipple and all of that crew. Will they be there? There's no surety of that, but the staff of Ohio State's going to be there, right? So then you also got to look, if you're a smart kid, you've got to look at the possibility that you have a Casey Thompson that's there, pretty solid quarterback. You get a chance to watch what he's going to do. He still has 2 years of eligibility left. You also got Purdy. You also got some others. You got other guys that are already there. It's a thick quarterback room right now. And Purdy has another 4 years, 3-4 years left, I think, on his eligibility. So when you look at the total landscape, those are some of the things, if I'm a young player, a smart player, I would be thinking about. And this is why I would not commit early to Nebraska at this point. I would probably watch it, see, and then if something intrigues me or interests me, then I may look at a decommittal and go to where I really want to be.
Yeah, for what it's worth, a commitment to Nebraska would be very strange if he was interested in Nebraska. And we don't know if that's the case. Again, when you're when we don't know who's number 2 or number 3 in his ranking. Nebraska might not even be right up there in the rankings. But in any case, you might be a bad luck. I mean, it'd be dangerous almost to commit to Nebraska. Maybe people would understand it if the staff goes awry and, you kind of have to go the other way. But if you already have, you're starting this, he's a flip-flopper. He commits to Nebraska. Nebraska gets a new staff, maybe thinks about going elsewhere and decommits. Then people might label him as, not loyal or not a flip-flop or something like that. So it wouldn't make any sense to me to commit to Nebraska at this point. And to commit to Ohio State with what they're offering, apparently they might not take a 2023 kid just so that he feels like they're committed to him in 2024. That's a lot from an Ohio State. That's a lot of trust from Coach Ryan Day and that staff and assuring you that you're the guy. Nebraska right now is kind of in a situation where they can't really assure anybody that they're the guy. You can tell them, especially, as far as recruiting quarterbacks, they can, do that with just one quarterback or whatever, but your program's not on solid ground. So it's difficult to just, and that's, I think might have been part of the turnoff here is, with Baylor Scheierman in the past, as I've talked about, I think Nebraska can put together a pretty good NIL package to be competitive, maybe not quite what Ohio State has. So maybe that factors in as well. But I think that there's just, Nebraska's programs in both cases are so far down. It almost seems like if you land a guy like that, he's the hero of the program. He has to step in and be the hero of the program. That might attract a few people, maybe the wrong people, to be honest with you. His egos are quite high. But it's not the same pitch as, this is Ohio State. Ohio State's had 9 of the last 11 quarterbacks of the year in the Big Ten have gone to Ohio State, including the last 6. That's stability. That, I remember Urban Meyer quote that he used to have was when he was recruiting quarterbacks to Ohio State, he had to really know how they could deal with the press because they were going to be Heisman contenders. He said, if you're not a Heisman contender at Ohio State at quarterback, you're not doing the job. There's going to be another guy behind you that can be. And that turned out true. It still is to this day. If you're a Heisman, if you're an Ohio State quarterback, you're going to be in the Heisman Trophy conversation. We see that again with CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
That's quite a recruiting pitch as opposed to Nebraska, where it's like, hey, we have your uncle. Just don't turn on the tape for the last 4 years because it's been Adrian Martinez not developing, and even worse, having to be that Superman, not having all the help around him, not having a stable offensive line, and ultimately not succeeding here.
Yeah.
I guess he's here.
No, but absolutely, man. I mean, look. That's why I said what I said. I mean, if you're a young player, a smart player, you've been successful no matter where you've gone, you're now there in Arizona and you're probably going to be have a solid program you're going to play very well and you're going to be pretty consistent in what you do because that's just the kind of player you are. You got to think about that, man. You got to think about what your future prospects, let's be real. We haven't had a quarterback that went in at that position. We haven't had a quarterback that been drafted probably, and the only reason I think Tommy Frazier may not have been drafted is because of the fact that he had the blood clot situation. Yeah, somebody probably would have gave him a look had that not been the case. But let's be real, we haven't seen it, and so that's something as a young player you got to consider, you got to look at, and that's why I would look at an early a committal to some place where I know I'm going to be able to compete. I mean, we saw yours out of South Lake from Texas.
Yeah, Quinn
Ewers. Up there, and Quinn Ewers, he went up there and didn't pan out. Had to break camp and go somewhere else to try to make it happen because CJ Stroud emerged, right? And that's the type of competition that's going to be there. I'm sure he's, up for that challenge. I mean, he comes, like I said, from great stock. He's got heart. I'm sure he'll be able to step in and compete. But at the end of the day, that's the landscape he's looking at. And so if there's any chance of some, Nebraska landing that, they've got to show and prove this year. I mean, they've got to do what Big Bob said on the Honda Lincoln hotline. They've got to do what Big Bob said. They got to show and prove. And I'm saying at a high level in order for that to happen.
Yeah, and that's part of this story too, is that when Dylan Raiola kind of started to show up and like, hey, Dominic's got a son and he's pretty good at football. Maybe that could be something down the line. And then he just blew up. Like, and he basically outgrew the connection to Nebraska, like, get him here, and started, getting to the territory of everybody's going to offer him and Arch Manning, both have somewhat of a name, and obviously Manning's might be a little bit stronger. He's going to get a little bit of NIL money.
They're saying serious. They're saying it's serious down there in Texas.
Oh yeah, you couldn't build a better quarterback, right? I mean, having that Manning name, there's already a lot to, any business that can grab a hold of that. He's the new up and coming next Manning. I mean, that's the perfect prospect for NIL. So that's going to be quite interesting to follow here. Looks like a few different texts that we have in from the Starter Heyman text line here, 402-464-5685. If you want to chime in on the conversation. Phil the Burns says, good afternoon. Great show as always. If Dylan Raiola says Ohio State is the best, we shouldn't even consider him a potential recruit for Nebraska. Still, even if we have a great season and he wants to change his mind, forget him and even bothering to come on a visit here. Just lip service because his dad played here. I don't think that you totally throw him out with the, to the dogs, like you don't care for him anymore. Well, I mean, like you said, you have an uncle that's naturally and without tampering can keep in contact with him at family calls or whatever. And then there's just the just what you said too. It's Ohio State, and that's why there's been a few talks about, well, Nebraska's got a lot of quarterbacks on their roster. If you're going to Ohio State, then you're not afraid of competition. I don't care how many quarterbacks are on anybody's roster. Nebraska's got a collection of guys that are here and there, but none of them are Dylan Raiola as far as coming out of high school where they're going to be, at least projected. And that's another thing that could change. He's still got 2 years of ball to play. But in any case, he's not scared of competition, but you also don't completely, I don't want fans to turn on him. If you're following him on Twitter, please don't tweet at him. Not just because it doesn't, that's pretty low of you to do to a 16-year-old to begin with, but also because down the line, you said it with Quinn Ewers. Even better example is Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow transferred from Ohio State because of a stat quarterback room. So, down the line, he might. Well,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you turn around, he goes up there to Ohio State. The competition is banging, booming. He comes up short. You had an 8-win season that last year. Boom, you come back out. Casey Thompson gets it flowing. All of a sudden, boom, Trey Palmer and them are getting busy. Trey's about to break through, get to the draft, and then everybody starts talking about, man, what's going down there in Nebraska? Casey Thompson, and Purdy's kind of there, but then all of a sudden, it ain't working for you. You want to be that second choice if it's not working. You want to be at least in the mix. So yeah, you don't want to burn that bridge. That's not a bridge you want to burn, because you want to make sure that if he has a second option, look. I'll just speak personally from a situation of that I knew, and that is Andre Woolridge. Andre Woolridge was one of the top recruits in the country coming out of high school. He ends up choosing Nebraska. We all come down to Nebraska. Just doesn't work out for him. He starts looking at the situation. And the thing he said was he remembered what the coach told him at Iowa, that basically, listen, once they let you down and it doesn't work out for you, just know that we want you here at Iowa. That's just a seed. That's a seed that's planted. It's germinated. It's in the dark, because that's what a seed does, right? You plant it, it goes into the ground. It's in the dark. It doesn't look like it has any potential. all you see is ground. The next thing, something pops out, and there's an Iowa from the growth of that seed of what happened and transpired there at Nebraska. And he ends up going right where the seed was planted. And that's what I'm saying. We just plant the seed. We plant the seed. If he does go to Ohio State, we still got 2 years. You just show and prove. You go out there, handle business on the field, show and prove. As you stated, Bach, there's still conversations, untampering, that he can have. At Thanksgiving, you're sitting down, hey, man, what's been going on in Nebraska? How's it? Man, listen, we just landed, boom, 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 boom. And, man, Casey is playing his tail off. He's moving up the mock boards. Yeah, it's looking real good out there. Man, yeah, how's things with the NIL? Yeah, man, listen, NIL is popping in Nebraska. You can have those conversations just sitting at dinner tables, you know what I mean? Or taking a vacation on the boat. You getting on a boat and going on a little cruise, but it's the family, and you can just have those conversations sitting down, having a little brew. So, plant that seed.
Yeah, absolutely. And then in these days, it's not just like up until they commit now. With the transfer portal, you just keep it there. You just keep on.
Plugging, baby. Just keep plugging.
Plug away, and maybe it'll turn out. But again, for Dylan, it's not necessary. I mean, it's going to be difficult, because if he does choose to transfer, there's going to be basically he'll have just about any list that, anybody that he wants on the list. Again, if he continues to play like he's expected to and be one of the number one quarterbacks in the class, which isn't assured. But again, if Ohio State
could be a bust, could be like, thank you, Lord. I mean, let's be real. It could happen. I mean, there's guys that have been 5-star recruits that went someplace and they were absolute horrid and they were bust. Yeah. So we're not going to speak that over the kid, but I'm just saying there's a lot of things. There's a lot of still years to play. Could be an injury. I mean, there's still stuff to deal out, man, before we can make that type of decision.
Yeah, it's funny because I was looking at Russell Wilson's career in college, because there's a bit of a debate whether he's a North Carolina State guy or Wisconsin guy, just in the hallways. And he's both. I mean, he actually had his number retired at North Carolina State. We remember him here at Nebraska at Wisconsin because he shellacked us and then, led his team to the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah, because he didn't really leave North Carolina State on bad terms. He just went to play baseball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He did a Kyler Murray, went to test the market, see what was out there, figured it out that just like Stricky did, my love is here. I love hoop. He loved football. Came back, made another choice, went up to Wisconsin, found an opening there, and made the best of it. It's in history books.
It's funny too, because I don't know how touchy that is with certain people, but especially when you have picks like guys that just leave the program but have spent most of their career here. Do you want to claim him? Like, that's the big topic with Wan'Dale is like, do we claim Wan'Dale? I mean, he spent more time here developing and getting better and growing and becoming a man than he did at Kentucky. At the same time, once he went to Kentucky, he became basically an All-American. He never did that at Nebraska. So his time versus success, I don't really know. Obviously, if you look at a sports card or something like that, or college, what college they went to, it's going to be the latest one. So we don't quite get to claim him, but it's part of the story. I mean, it if you went to Nebraska.
Man, Bach, man. Nebraska created the Carfax, man. Again, there was a wreck, man. The Carfax was bad. You can't claim it now, man. The Carfax is bad, man. He went to a new owner, baby, at a discount, basically. Shoot.
The same thing for years was with Richie Incognito, and for a while it's like, claim he's great, and then it's like, oh wait, no, don't claim him. And then now it's kind of back to claim him.
Claim him.
He's a great offensive lineman. So that's always kind of fun. Again, off the text line, Froth from Lincoln says, you mentioned Ohio State offered more. How do we know that? We don't know that for sure as far as NIL. For what it's worth, Brian Munson is a little bit more plugged in. That's basically where I took that from. Is he said that in the last hour, is that as far as NIL packages go, Ohio State's right up there, may have more than Nebraska. So that's just where that came from. Jory Anfroff throw in that Tanner Lee was drafted. That didn't turn out well, but he was drafted. And Steve says Brooke Behringer was their last chance to have a decent NFL quarterback. That's probably true as well. And Simba says if Raiola picked Nebraska last night, that secures Frost's job for 4 years.
I doubt it.
Question mark.
Question mark on that one. No, not just one question mark, Bach. You know how we do question. Multiple question marks on that one. Yeah, that's not a surety.
It would be fascinating, though, because obviously the direct correlation with his uncle playing, if he did choose Nebraska now, would that give Frost more job security? Because
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, at least if we're, if obviously you go like 3-9 or 4-8 again, maybe it doesn't quite get you there. But if you're in that borderline 6-6, things aren't getting better, but the team doesn't look a whole lot better. But Dylan Raiola is coming in a few years. That could be some more job security for Frost, but obviously didn't happen.
You want my answer, Bach?
Yeah, go ahead.
Negative. That don't mean nothing. You want me to tell you what it does mean? It means that whoever the next coach is like, you, Coach Raiola? Yeah, we retaining you, my guy.
Yeah, we're keeping him.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. It ain't going to be, it's not a pass the Dutchie to the left-hand side. No, sir. It's you out the door and you stay. That's one of those type of conversations.
Yeah, do whatever you can to keep him involved. But that'd be interesting. It didn't happen either way. But we still have 2 more years, as Ben says. Look, we got 2 more years.
Raiola's in the best situation of anybody out here, Bach. Let's be real. Any coach, I think Mickey Joseph has a good shot. There's certain coaches on that staff right now that if there is a shift, they could either be in line, or if there's a shift, that next coaching staff will probably come in and look internally and say, I don't got to do much. I can keep you. Because they do have those. They do exit interviews, and they do new staff interviews. They're going to interview all the staff, and there's going to be certain. I think that would probably have a chance of getting retained. But I think Raiola, with a couple years remaining, would be one of those ones that would have a pretty good shot of staying. Yeah.
But he's got, I mean, the opposite end of that is he's got the biggest uphill battle basically to get his position back to good, or back to at least acceptable, to get this team going.
He still has time.
He's got time, but it's not easy, especially with an offensive line. It's hard to just pick guys out. With the transfer portal, it might be a little bit easier, and they've got a few guys that they might jump in and be starters and all that. But that's not usually a quick turnaround on the offensive line.
But he's got something to work with though, Bob. Proska, and a few of those guys that are there. Yeah. He's got at least something to start to work with. He just got to coach them up. If they just progressively get better, he goes out there and lands 1 or 2 in the recruiting, a freshman and then maybe a portal guy, and just keeps building. He's got a couple years. I don't think he's in a I got to have it tomorrow situation on the line. I think he's got to coach them up. They've got to be progressively better, definitely in the pass rush, in the pass, blocking situation. Definitely pass protection's got to be good. Their running was solid. I mean, I think their zone running was pretty good. I mean, they did a pretty good job getting off the ball. There were times when there was stagnation in the front line, but for the most part, they moved some bodies a little bit, and you saw that in the games that they played. They did a little bit of moving up front. They opened some holes definitely for Adrian Martinez. I mean, he had a top tier rushing year, so to speak. But I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, especially with those exit interviews, like you said. If it comes to that, and we hope it doesn't. Hopefully, Scott Frost retained his job and does well there. But I could see some holdovers if that is indeed the case down the line. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get to Stephen M. Sipple of Early Break now. He's always been of Early Break, but that's his primary job until we hear otherwise.
My first thing is when he pops on, shut up, Sipple.
All right. Well, maybe we'll welcome him in with that then. That's coming up next year on The Block on 93.7 The Ticket.
Southeast Community College is training tomorrow's workforce today with our nearly 60 career and technical programs. We are doing our part to help employers fill vacancies during this current labor shortage, graduating students with skill sets employers are seeking. We're also helping to upskill the workforce by adding short-term credentials like certificates in many programs so that employees can get retraining quickly. Learn more about upskilling with SCC at southeast.edu/academics. SCC, your path to possible.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sutter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SutterHeyman.com.
wingstop.com.
Yo, it's the captain, Rashawn Jackson. Join me this Wednesday at Wingstop at 28th and Pine Lake Road from 11 to 2 for your Husker sports talk and, most importantly, wings. That's Wednesday at Wingstop at 28th and Pine Lake, the official sponsor of the captain. Order wings ahead at wingstop.com. See you there.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Storage Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 Highway 6 in Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers Great Plains Regional Auction on June 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Expect increasing cloud cover, not quite as hot today as we'll be topping out near 83. Winds out of the northeast, a little breezy at 15 to 20. Partly cloudy tonight with a low down to 63. Slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow morning, then becoming hot and windy as we'll top out near 92. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Tune in every Monday morning throughout the summer at 6:45 a.m. for golf course reviews on the Nebraska Golf Passport Early Break Golf Tour with Jake Sorensen and Steve Sipple on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
I present the fruitcake. Long the subject of jokes, ridicule, derision, but did the fruitcake accept its place in the culinary totem pole? No! The fruitcake sought to rise to its full potential at Beatrice Bakery. Premium nuts, high-quality fruits, and the delectable trio of brandy, bourbon, and rum. Grandma's fruitcake is no punchline, but a decadent treat that packs a punch of flavor.
Check out Grandma's Fruitcake and all the delicious desserts at Beatrice Bakery. Welcome to our world of yum.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is under new management, but has the same great service as before. If your current garage door seems outdated or isn't working properly, call their new number at 402-480-2840 to schedule service or get a new door ordered. Steve's can repair most types of garage doors and can always point you in the right direction to get the job done. Give Steve's Garage Doors and Services a call today at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back here on the block on a Tuesday, and it's a great Tuesday here on 93.7 The Ticket. Maybe a little bit better if Dylan Raiola didn't commit to Ohio State, but other than that, we're doing pretty good here.
The club's going up on a
right.
Tuesday.
We should have that song in the system as well at some point today. Quick tease on Shootout with Strick, which is after this segment, actually, Ohio State trivia. So we're kind of continuing with the Dylan Raiola thing.
I'm shooting today. I'm telling you, somebody busted
for
me open yesterday. I'm shooting today.
Oh, yeah. It took a perfect score to bring you down yesterday for what we claim as the best the best game on 93.7 The Ticket's airwaves.
Facts.
Shut Up Sipple is pretty darn close, but
Shut up, Sipple. Where he at? I need to tell him right now. Where
we can't tell him that now. He's actually busy, so we're also going. That's all right too. So we're gonna have to reach out to him maybe later in the week, maybe next week. We can catch up with Steve Sipple of Early Break. If you haven't seen so far, he's winding up his career. Maybe he's done now. I have to double check with the Lincoln Journal-Star. So congrats to him on a great career that's been my whole life, actually, as I'm 31 years old. I think he's been there 33 years old. Yeah, you probably remember when you played, he was
around. Yeah, he was a beat writer when I was around, so he's been around a long time. I didn't get to tell him shut up too much because otherwise he would have wrote some bad stuff about me. I tried to make sure I kept him in good graces, kind of kept him in my pocket a little bit. Hey, Sip, what's up, man? How you doing? Maybe write something good about Stricky. You know what I mean? But no, man, listen, let's hear from the people, man. Let's see what the people are talking about, man. Hit us up on the Honda Lincoln hotline, 402-464-5685. Any questions, any thoughts, anything, any sport, holler at us, because right now softball is the spring revival of what's going on campus right now. So let's give them a hand clap. Hopefully they'll be able to get into the NCAA tournament, but also, we want to hear from you guys. We want to talk to you. Since we can't tell Sipple to shut up, we won't tell you to shut up. Call us. And we thank you guys continuously for texting us on the Honda, on the Sutter Heyman text line. And we love your comments as well. We thank you guys for your engagement. We appreciate it. But we love conversations with guys like Bob. Bob jumped in yesterday he just blew my top off with his optimism and his perspective. I might put some money on it, but I won't put it on the over though. I won't put it on the over. He's going over. I'm not going to put it on
way over. He said he might go undefeated. That's really optimistic take. But yeah, maybe we can open up for an Ask Strick type of thing. It's been a while since we've done that. We have questions for Eric Strickland, the Husker Hall of Famer, longtime NBA vet. There's plenty of things you can ask him. He's out on the Atlantic Ocean from time to time. So there's plenty to talk to them about. 402-464-5685. Call in or text in. Honda of Lincoln Hotline, Sutter Heyman text line. I thought this was kind of funny. Ben says it is voting day here in Nebraska. So he says, let's make the text line real stupid and ask, who are you voting for? No, we better not do that.
but see, I don't live in Nebraska, so I'm not tied. I couldn't vote if I wanted to vote. I don't know who is out there. I will say that I'm apolitical. I am an independent. I listen to the this is what I'll tell you. I listen to both sides of the spectrum, and whoever fits in. I think I would say that I maintain some conservative values as far as the way that I think and act. And then I have, some liberal perspectives. I mean, but I'm apolitical. I think I listen to the topics. I do research. I dig in. I find out a little bit about you, what you really think, what you've said, and what you really act upon. Those things are important to me as well. So that's the way I say I would vote. I'm not going to tease something, but just say that something real soon is going to change, and maybe that part of it might change as well.
I don't know what that means, but yeah, I'll agree with that. At least I know.
Stay tuned to the block. You might get some inside info. It's happening right here. Just a little teaser to let you know that some things may be changing. Possibly.
Oh, I'm excited for that, and I'm glad I didn't know that about you. I'm also an independent as well. I think that that gives you some room to think. Unfortunately, it limits what you can do in the primaries, though.
Yeah, it does limit that. It does.
Yeah, so there is always that, and so that takes away a little bit from it. But in any case, I kind of think independently myself. Simmons says, "What's Strick's Twitter handle?" Maybe we could tease that one out.
eStrick20, and I engage, but I'm one of those like roller coaster ride engagers, right? It's stuff will be hot and topics will be popping in my head and thoughts will be rolling out, and I'll be pop, tweet. I'll be retweet. Oh, I like that one, retweet. And then I'll be on the low end of the roller coaster, and I'll just be kind of silent where it'll be crickets.
Yeah. Any favorites?
But it's eStrick20, eStrick20, ESTRICK 20, the number 20 is my Twitter handle. And I play around on Instagram periodically as well, and that's eStrick2020. And then I have where I do a lot of my sports and analytics and speaking about things on eStrick20 Media. And that's where I'll be doing a lot of my media business. So yeah.
Yeah, that's all exciting stuff. So would you say more of an Instagram, as far as looking at stuff, not putting your own content out, just looking, scrolling through timelines? You more of a Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, any of those?
Twitter was kind of getting a little funny for me after a while, so I kind of just was, I peep on it, check it out. I'm gonna be honest, man. Listen. I'm a person that I'm very tactful in my perceptions of things. I listen to you and I take your information and I can consider it. Listen, I can agree to disagree with you. I may not agree with your perspective on it, but that's okay. That's your perspective. That's the way you view it. That's your viewpoint. And I think for a minute, man, Twitter got a little wild for me where it was just like viewpoints on, certain places was getting X'd out and kicked to the side, and viewpoints on another side was getting thrown to the forefront and trending. And I was like, yo, man, this is wild to me. And that's just me as a free thinker. I've never been one of those follow type of guys. I've never been a guy that when I hear news or somebody shoots news at me that I'd be like, okay. I'm like, well, wait, now let me okay, that's interesting. Let me go check that out. And I'll dig. I don't just dig on one place or one site or one. I go and just start looking and perusing around, trying to figure it out. And then I put my own perspective on it. So that's the way I kind of do business. And I think Twitter got a little wild for me for a minute. That's why I kind of jumped off.
Yeah, fair enough. And there's a lot of people that do that take breaks from social media and just kind of refresh. It's nice to, you might not know the latest breaking news, but it kind of de-stresses yourself for a little bit. So that's kind of cool. Off of Twitter, some Simwan Kenobi asked, would Husker Extra sip? So sip, Strick, and myself. If you had to be paired with myself and Sipple, do you think that we could beat other local media squads in 3-on-3? You'd have to
no question.
Oh yeah,
the defense would by alone would they score?
Oh yeah.
Listen, I could play a good defensive set for a minute. Now I may be tired and winded nowadays, but if Bach was penetrating and kicking out the Strick, I will knock a jumper down. So I'll let you and Sip do the penetration. I'll stand in the corner but I'll play some D though. I'll play some D for you. I'll make sure we lock some stuff down.
Yeah, we could beat some people. It probably depends on the matchups there. Sometimes I feel like I'm adequate and I can play with some people. And then, there's other times I just don't belong in the court. So it probably depends on who's out there. But if I got you, Strick, there.
Just penetrate, man. Just find me. I'm telling you. Just find me.
Yeah, well, that sounds good, but I might be dribbling off my feet and stuff. So maybe we can get Sip to be the point guard. That might work out well. Let's go to JP here. Says, Strick, have you ever been to Mark Cuban's house? We know you've played with the Mavericks and kind of developed a relationship with Mark Cuban. Have you been to his house? He's a very. I love watching Shark Tank and all that stuff. One of the better media, I guess media personalities even, but owners altogether in the NBA.
I have. I've been to Mark's house and I've been on his plane. So it's I had now the rules have changed a little bit since my time. I mean, some of those things now, like we used to get free tickets. Like we would get 4 free tickets and we could distribute them, and we still get that. But we used to be able to get as many as we needed. Like if we had family or something coming in, if I needed 10 tickets, I'd talk to the organization. They'd get me 10,
What if you needed one on one side of the court and one on the other side of the court? Would Mark Cuban do that for you?
Facts. If I need one in the mid bowl and one in the low bowl, facts. That would go down. But but now you have to purchase tickets. I mean, like for real.
Oh.
Like you're a player, you want extras, you got to purchase, or you got to get them from teammates. So we used to always talk to the rookies or talk to the the younger ones and be, or if we're on a road trip where we know you don't got no, yo man, I need them. I need them. I need them 3. So that's how we used to do it. Yeah, but I have been to Mark's house. I've been as well on his plane.
Yeah, very cool stuff. Let's go to no, we're not go to that one. That was just a joke. Also, more questions for Strick here. Do you think it's harder for old Nebraska players to respect Scott Frost because of how? No, I'm not gonna. It's just, or do you think it's like I don't want to ask you that one either, so I'm going to switch it up. Do you think it's harder for older Nebraska players to respect Scott Frost for what he's doing? Obviously, the buy-in was pretty strong, and again, this was the answer for Nebraska, right? Is to go back to somebody that bleeds Husker red. Do you think it's harder for them to let go, kind of that connection, or do you think that it's they kind of can see what's going on and understanding that maybe he might not be the answer? And obviously it's not one way or the other right now, but it's been trending one direction as 4 years here.
I will say that I've spoken to different players, in different places. They live there in Nebraska, and some don't. But I won't be specific, but I will say in general that some people have taken a stance that they wanted to kind of be close to the program. They wanted to interject a little bit. And it seemed like earlier on there was some pushback. I venture to say it has been a blessing to probably have Trev Albers back because I think he understands that. And I think he's trying to work that back in to really draw the alumni, those who have had a form of connection, to really build that family type of atmosphere. You see it in some universities that is the case, and I think he's trying to rebuild that. And I think some kind of had a little bit of, negativity when it thought, with regards to Frost. Now, I think Frost has been cool and great. I actually been there and I've sat in his office. We've had conversations. Talked about what he's trying to do and what he's trying to put together. So I'm not going to say that that's my story, but I will say that, there has been some instances where some people maybe felt a little bit different about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I think altogether, at least the former players feel more accepted here than they have in the past. Obviously, there's other coaches, Bill Callahan comes first and foremost, just kind of was throwing all that away, saying, throw away the history. This is my program now. I don't want all these different opinions hanging around the program and stuff. But it seems to be a little bit better with that connection now. Kirk from Georgia wants to ask about playing at the Rec back when he was in college. He says, do you recall a game? He apparently was at this game.
I probably dunked on him. I probably dunked on him or something.
Well, he's saying that Tommy Frazier might have got the best. He says, if you recall going up for a scoop layup, Tommy went over him and tapped the ball against the backboard. The rest of us just dropped our draws to the floor. Is that a true story? Did that happen?
Listen, no, there were some football players that could actually play, and we would all go in there. I would say that could have happened. I could have been doing something lazy, but I tell you what, if it happened the next time, I was probably trying to put him in the rim. So yeah, that probably did happen. Maybe being lazy and got one up and he got it. Yeah. Okay.
Well, he's one of the best athletes in Nebraska history, regardless. So you don't feel too bad about it.
Well, not offensively. I don't. Tommy could play some, but I would say one of the ones that I thought really had some skills out there was like Eric Warfield. Like Eric Warfield could play hoop a little bit. And there were some other ones like Dwayne Harris. We call him Debo for a reason. That he is like Friday's Debo. When he's on there, he's trying to body you, beat you, hack you, shack you, all of the whole thing that was going on. Dwayne Harris, when he showed up, I was like, man, I'm sitting out this game, man. I don't feel like taking that.
There's definitely those football players that they think it's just extended game of football out there.
Right.
That's not necessarily the case. That'll wrap it up for Ask Strick. I'm glad we were able to do that again. Not necessarily planned, but again, we'll catch up with Sipple at some point, and we'll try to bring more of those Ask Strick segments back because those are always fun. But it's time for you to call in 402-464-5685. The first to do so, we'll get in line for Shootout with Strick. Today it's Ohio State trivia. So if you know a little bit about Ohio State trivia, even if you don't, I mean, it's a 50-50 shot on most of these questions. And if you win, you can take home $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. If you lose, well, then at least Strick plays for the people, and caller number 3 will get the shot. But give us a call right now, 402-464-5685. We'll play Shootout with Strick coming up next.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Expect increasing cloud cover, not quite as hot today as we'll be topping out near 83. Winds out of the northeast, a little breezy at 15 to 20. Partly cloudy tonight with a low down to 63. Slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow morning, then becoming hot and windy as we'll top out near 92. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello, I'm Charlie Stone, back with the latest news from Honda of Lincoln. Joining me now is the general manager, Andy Goodyear. Hey, Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Charlie.
Hey, Andy, with spring right around the corner, how is your supply of new Hondas and pre-owned vehicles?
Really good, Charlie. As I've said before, when you drive by our lot, you don't see what you're looking for, just remember we have hundreds of new Hondas arriving soon, with Honda continuing to offer 0.9% APR financing to qualified buyers. Plus, we have over 125 pre-owned vehicles in stock and ready for immediate delivery.
That's great, Andy. Any more great news?
There is, Charlie. Honda just announced financing from 0.99% APR on certified pre-owned Hondas for qualified buyers.
So come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop, but you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Brown Shoe Fit is gearing up for spring with new inventory on the way. They're stocking up on new spring sandals and athletic shoes daily in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Keen, Merrell, On, and many, many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Atrax. Spring is the season to be active and busy. Don't let your feet lose their support with old rundown shoes or sandals. Stop by Brown's Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
It's all about Shootout with Strick here on 93.7 The Ticket here on the block. We are ready for our favorite game show. Today's trivia is about Ohio State in honor of Dylan Raiola. I still chill for Dylan Raiola, even if he goes to Ohio State, because he is a legacy kid, and I really like Dominic Raiola, to be honest with you. Probably my favorite offensive lineman at Nebraska. I'll still cheer for Dylan Raiola. Maybe others have other thoughts, but also another reminder, he is a 16-year-old kid, so don't go tweet your thoughts at him if you're upset at him. But in any case, it's time to play Shootout with Strick. Again, we're talking about Ohio State football here. We have Chris on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Chris, how big of a Buckeye fan are you?
I might be a fan.
A little bit of a fan. Well, that'll help you out a little bit here, because we'll have you go right after Strick, but let's see if we can get a high score. Yesterday, Strick did pretty well, and then his opponent got 6 points and swept him out of there. So we'll see if Strick can get it going here. Strick, are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, we'll go.
It's all about the game and how you play it.
That's right. It's how you play it here. We'll go in 3, 2, 1. Who was Ohio State's only loss during their 2014 national championship run? Wisconsin or Virginia Tech?
Virginia Tech.
That's correct. Who's the winningest coach in Ohio State football history? Jim Tressel or Woody Hayes?
Tressel.
It was actually Hayes. Who was Ohio State's career leader in sacks? Mike Vrabel or Joey Bosa?
Bosa.
It was actually Vrabel. Garrett Wilson was just taken in the first round of the NFL draft by who? Ravens or Jets?
Jets.
That is correct, and he was the last Ohio State quarterback to win the Heisman in 2006.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hassel.
No, it was actually Troy Smith. He's a Heisman that you kind of gets lost there, but he was pretty darn good quarterback. 2 points there for you, Strick. You knew Virginia Tech because Nate makes the show, and obviously has to throw Virginia Tech in there. But 2 points for you, pretty solid. Let's see if Chris can beat you. Chris, are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go in 3, 2, and 1. He's the only two-time Heisman Trophy winner. Eddie George or Archie Griffin?
Archie Griffin.
That's correct. Who was Ohio State's career leader in passing yards? Cardale Jones or J.T. Barrett?
Barrett.
That is correct as well. Who was Ohio State's opponent during their first Rose Bowl win in 1950? Oregon or Cal?
Cal.
Oh, good memory there. Ohio State. Who was Ohio State's head coach in their most recent national championship in 2014? Urban Meyer or Jim Tressel?
Urban Meyer.
That is correct, and he was the most recent Ohio State quarterback drafted in the first round by the Bears.
Justin Fields.
That is correct. All 6 points once again.
Baby, 08.
Yeah, there you go.
Wait, man, those questions was easy, man. You gotta give it to the Stricky that play for the people, man. You give all the easy questions to the. No, I'm just playing.
Oh, come on, Troy Smith. You couldn't get Troy Smith.
There he goes. He's already talking.
He's already talking trash. I love it.
He knows. He's an Ohio State fan here. First, we get your shout-outs here, Chris, for your win.
Boom shakalaka. Give me a hell yeah.
Hell no.
I said give me a hell yeah.
There you go, Chris. Congratulations on your win. All 6 points. And I guess since you're an Ohio State fan, congratulations on Dylan Raiola. You can talk trash to all Husker Nation, I suppose, with that one.
I guess so.
Yes, sir.
All right. Congratulations on your $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Just stay online there, and Nate will tell you how to get a hold of that. So that'll be great. You went up against Ohio State fan. We didn't know an Ohio State fan was going to call in. That trivia makes it easier for him. He even knew 1950 Ohio State trivia. What are we supposed to do there?
I had no chance. But listen, I'm going to get in a fight. I'm going to shoot. You only make with the shots you take. You don't.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You got to shoot your shot. Otherwise, you don't score.
How about this? It would have been the tiebreaker. Didn't need it today, but what is the capacity of Ohio State Stadium?
105,000.
That's pretty close. They are one of the biggest stadiums in the nation. 102,780. It's a big stadium there at the Horseshoe. I'd love to go there someday. Have you ever been?
I have not been to the Shoe, and I would love to go. I think I'd love to go watch a game in the Shoe one time.
Yeah, a couple of my friends in high school did that. They went out and they were part of the college radio. Went out and did it on the road there.
I would like to go to the Big House too. I think I would like
yeah.
to go to the shoe in the Big House. So I think those are a couple I'd like to visit.
Yeah, it's also awesome to see Memorial Stadium, but just even more fans. With those over 100,000.
I just don't want to go in a cold. I want them to play like Nebraska in like September or something like. I don't want to go in the middle of November when it's like iceberg slim. I don't do very well. I like to go in the suites when that happens.
I went to the Big House once, but not for a game. I just happened to be in Ann Arbor, and so I went there and I wanted a stadium tour, and they gave it to me. That was pretty cool. But it'd be a little bit different with a bunch of people in there. It's time for us to take a break. Unfortunately, we're up against it once again, but the 5 o'clock hour on the block will continue to entertain you and continue to talk a little bit about Dylan Raiola. He's kind of the story of the day, but we'll also talk about Tom Brady set to join Fox Sports on a pretty lucrative deal once his career ends. Also hitting the hardwood coming up. A lot to break down there. Grizzlies lack a closer last night as they try to close that series or get the series a little bit closer with Golden State. Also, you have the Al Horford game, and then tonight you have the Joel Embiid as they haven't lost since he's come back against the Heat. Suns Mavs game 5 as well. So we'll talk about all that stuff coming up next here on the block on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey, it's Nelson. Have you stopped by the newest Caterpillar Vapes location? It's here in Lincoln at 2601 North 11th Street and offers you the largest selection of premium e-juice, CBD, and Delta 8 in the capital city. Let the Caterpillar Vapes team walk you through all your options and find the perfect fit for you. Lowest prices? Guaranteed. Stock up and save and experience the difference for yourself. Returning Caterpillar customers grab rewards and amazing weekly deals, and new Caterpillar customers get 50% off their entire first purchase. Come in or use the drive-thru. Find them on Facebook or visit CaterpillarVapes.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Work, laundry, dishes. I was exhausted. I needed a vacation, but finding a way to pay for it, not so easy. Then I found it. A research study at Solarion. I searched the studies and found a perfect match for me. It was so easy. I earned cash for the study and booked that vacation. Plus, I made an impact on medical research. Find a study and sign up today at helpresearch.com.
You should consider the risks of the research before you agree to participate.
I present the fruitcake. Long the subject of jokes, ridicule, derision, but did the fruitcake accept its place in the culinary totem pole? No! The fruitcake sought to rise to its full potential at Beatrice Bakery. Premium nuts, high-quality fruits, and the delectable trio of brandy, bourbon, and rum. Grandma's fruitcake is no punchline, but a decadent treat that packs a punch of flavor.
Check out Grandma's fruitcake and all the delicious desserts at Beatrice Bakery. Welcome to our world of yum. Are you sick of mindlessly running on a treadmill or the lack of motivation to consistently work out? Whatever your challenge, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping can help. Whether you want to lose weight, boost energy, or simply improve your overall health, you'll fit right in at Farrell's regardless of age or abilities. Build endurance with their kickboxing and strength training group fitness classes while also getting nutrition coaching. Try Farrell's now for a free week. Visit fxblincoln.com or call Jeff at 402-310-4026. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard, increase security, and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Hello, I'm Charlie Stone, back with the latest news from Honda of Lincoln. Joining me now is the general manager, Andy Goodyear. Hey, Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Charlie.
Hey, Andy, with spring right around the corner, how is your supply of new Hondas and pre-owned vehicles?
Really good, Charlie. As I've said before, when you drive by our lot, you don't see what you're looking for, just remember we have hundreds of new Hondas arriving soon, with Honda continuing to offer 0.9% APR financing to qualified buyers. Plus, we have over 125 pre-owned vehicles in stock and ready for immediate delivery.
That's great, Andy. Any more great news?
There is, Charlie. Honda just announced financing from 0.99% APR on certified pre-owned Hondas for qualified buyers.
So come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Strick and Bach. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
93.7 The Ticket veteran and Creed stan Jake Bakovic.
I love that band, Creed.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Strick and Bach. Hold up.
Standing and tweeting and doing all of that, not tweeting, but I was actually doing some phone business. And so I didn't mean to give you my stomach view, but hey, we're back on the block. We're here for the second hour once again on the block. We thank you all for joining us for the second hour, for sticking with us, for staying with us, for staying tuned in and watching me take an L on Shootout with Strick, but that's okay. It is okay. We are still going to keep shooting. I'm still going to stay in the fight. So at the end of the day, there's been a lot going on, and we've been talking about, Dylan Raiola and the possibilities of that. And listen, we want to still hear from you on that. Do you think Nebraska even has a shot, or you think Nebraska should just plant the seed and see if it germinates and never know what happens out there? How do you feel about it? 402-464-5685 on the Sauter Heyman text line. We always like to hear from you. If you want to tap in, chime in, break in, whatever you want to do. You also can reach out on the Honda Lincoln hotline at 402-464-5685. This might be a segment to kind of, do that, because we're going to talk a little bit about the GOAT, Tom Brady. Tom Brady, listen, he has the best of all worlds working for him right now. I guess it comes with being the GOAT. Right now, a lot of people have been loving Tony Romo's and Troy Aikman's, and Troy's been a Stapleton for a long time in the business. The GOAT is still playing, but he has landed the super bag soon as he quits. That's just like being an NBA player. You've been playing all your career, i.e., Jason Kidd. There's others that this has happened before, but at the end of the day, as soon as you retire, you land the bag. But listen, they jumped into coaching. The one that intrigues me is the best of all worlds, is to become a sports analyst after it's all said and done. The Tampa Bay quarterback will join Fox Sports as its lead NFL analyst when it's all said and done. Fox CEO Lachlan Murdoch announced in the news on Tuesday during an earnings call per ESPN that Brady's role will pay him, drum roll, 20 to 25 stackolas. He would be the highest paid TV sports analyst ever. And there's been great ones. He would be the greatest, the highest paid ever. Does that, so on the Sutter Heyman text line or on the phone at the Honda Lincoln hotline, 402-464-5685. Do you think Tom Brady, out of all the great analysts of all time, landing that super bag, is it worth the money? Bach, talk to me.
Well, I don't know. I mean, a lot of these former guys that are getting in the booth are pretty good. The Manning, broadcasts do pretty well. Obviously, that's different than the traditional booth that it looks like Brady's going to be a part of. But the Drew Brees, the Tony Romos over the years. I mean, those are the most recent guys. But it seems to be the quarterbacks that can that obviously have this whole crazy type of following. Really, I mean, in the NFL circles. Anybody that knows about the NFL, and it's the biggest league in the world, and it runs cable television, basically. I mean, it gets all the top ratings. The quarterback is the most followed guy, is the most talked about guy, most known guy through even the fringe of the fan base. So I think it's really great for marketability, and obviously Tom Brady stands above that. I mean, because he's been playing for 2 decades plus now, and just obviously what he's accomplished. It's crazy to think about it though, because the report is, other than the money that he gets per year, it looks like a 10-year, $375 million.
Oh, Lord have mercy! Say that again, Bob.
10 years, $375 million contract with Fox. Again, like you said, it will be the most lucrative deal in sports broadcasting history.
I'm in the wrong business.
Hey, you're on your way up. You just got to start calling some play-by-play here for us. We might not be exactly that much. But he's also, I mean, it's crazy because when you look at it, his 23-year career earnings after this season will be $317 million. Therefore, he's going to make more money if he stays in the booth for 10 years than he would 23 years, becoming the greatest of all time and on the playing field. So
the great Bernie Mac would say, "Claude, have mercy."
It is. It's hard to even wrap your head around it. The other part of it is Gisele's always been making money too. So I mean, they've been doing pretty darn good as a couple. And it is. I mean, it is. It's hard to wrap your head around that type of number for a broadcaster. But that's what these guys are kind of pushing these days. And it used to be, you can kind of speak of it as a guy that went to broadcasting college, and there's always kind of a little bit of a jealousy from guys that didn't play. And they go to broadcasting college and they try to refine all their work, and then an ex-player jumps in and takes their spot. But now you can kind of see it. If Joe Schmo off the streets, a lot going to command that type of money. And I'm just intrigued to see if Tom Brady is that good at it. I mean, I think that they've probably ran through some trials. They've they probably not just going to throw this out there without having thought about it. But there's, it doesn't always work out the way you want it to. I think this is kind of a weird example, but Rob Gronkowski was set a big deal with WWE. He seems the part, right? I mean, he's the beast on the field. He's got all the what you would think you would need in wrestling as far as having the personality to kind of go along with it, and it just didn't work. It just didn't, he didn't turn out to be that guy. So that's the one thing that I'll say is he might have this huge deal. People are going to tune into him, but how many years is it going to be till he's got to earn it as far as a broadcaster compared to just the name Tom Brady's going to draw you to watching that game?
So here's my perspective on that. There's 2 parts to Tom Brady that some that follow him know, and some that don't, that just hate him because of what they see on the field, right? Tom on the field is sometimes very businesslike, stoic, just handling stuff the way it's supposed to be handled. He has pretty much his eyes. He may talk a little trash every now and then to a player, that maybe said something to him. But when he gets on Twitter and when he gets on different situations, he is a super troll. Like he says, he like seems to have a whole different persona when he gets off the field. And if you follow him, you can see that, right? But the thing about Tom is, how charismatic is he when he's in the booth? That's what I'm interested in seeing, because he's funny, and at times when he's kind of off, he'll say some stuff kind of outlandish off the cuff, and he's kind of, you kind of laugh at him because you're like, that's not what you expect to hear from him or see from him, but he has that in him. So I want to see, does he maintain a very business type of mentality, or is he just the funny side of Tom come out? Because you see Troy Aikman, he maintains the same type of flow that he had when he was playing football. You can see that from how he handled himself on the field as to the way that he handled it. And you saw that kind of same thing with Tony Romo when he was in the booth and the way. So I'm interested to see what form of Tom Brady we're going to see. Is it going to be the troll, funny type of Tom Brady, or an acting, or is it going to be the business-like and stoic face? And that's what I'm interested in seeing.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see his approach to it as well. I do think that there is this. It almost does become, especially initially, must-watch television when he's in the booth. First of all, because he's going to be talking about players he played against. Obviously, that kind of helped with Tony Romo as well. But Tony Romo's got the thing where you can kind of call back or predict stuff. Brady's obviously not the most athletically gifted quarterback of all time. Nobody's ever argued that. But it's it's everything that kind of went to it in between his ears. That's kind of helped out there, and obviously Belichick kind of helping out with the play calling there too. But that'll be fascinating. I'm just interested because the reason I would say call it must-watch television for any fan. That's like Michael Jordan or LeBron James, somebody like that doing it. It's a whole era. That's maybe the greatest football player of all time, at least according to accomplishments that he's had. And so when he like calls back on a situation, if he's just mid-game, this reminds me of 2007 against Indianapolis. Your ears perk up. You really want to hear that. And Tony Romo or any of these guys, Chris Collinsworth, they have a little bit of callback on the playing days, but they don't have quite like Tom Brady, if he wrote a book about every one of his seasons, I think they'd be bestsellers just because you're so intrigued about, what went into that career.
Yeah. And so the thing is, what I really like about Tony Romo when he does it is he calls out different things that is actually transpiring, coverages, routes, like route patterns, you know what I mean? Like he ran a dig with a post over the top, he calls those things so you can actually visualize what just transpired as to what you saw. Because if you're not a football guy, you don't know what a cover 4 is, a cover 3, a man's zone man. You don't know that was a getting in the A gap and a gap blitz. You don't know some of that stuff if you have never played football. And so he brings that perspective to it. I'm interested to see that when he's sitting there and he's watching the quarterback, over the center, that he's calling out different things that he may see. And then all of a sudden a play's run or something like that. That's what I'm interested to see, kind of how he flows in the midst of the booth. But, he's going to be calling games. It sounds like he's going to be with Kevin Burkhardt. There's been some ups and downs. Obviously ESPN was able to sway Aikman away, and so there's been a lot of movement in the booth. But Fox, to be able to land him, there's been some talk and some speculation out there that some believe that Tom isn't going to be anytime soon. There's been some talk about that. Who brought that up? I want to say, I can't remember who it actually was that brought that up. But anyway,
as in, does he have like a few more years left?
Yeah. There's been some talk out there. Oh, Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw basically explains why it won't start pretty quickly, and he made some mention of that. And he thinks that he has a few more years to go. He thinks that. There's no need for him to do it right away. He's got still some work to be done, and they still think he's got some length in his arm and some stretch in his play. So, this guy's making $40 to $50 million, shoot, why not extend it out? Try to get you another ship. But if it goes well for him, I think he may consider another year. But We'll see. But Bradshaw doesn't believe that it's going to be like anytime soon.
Well, and it does make it helps clarify a little bit of the confusion or the choice that had to be made for Tom Brady as he was going through his retirement, or just kind of going through that whole phase where we didn't know. He kind of left you out there. Am I going to retire? What am I going to do? Going to kind of think over my career. And if that deal was there, obviously that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it makes, a lot of sense. You hear guys like even Dirk Nowitzki. I know he's a big guy about if he would have stopped playing basketball 2 years prior, he's said in the past that he'd probably be able to, play more games with his children. And but he kind of dealt with injuries near the end. And Tom Brady obviously getting up there in age. That's something you have to consider. More time spent with family was always a factor in there. And then there was the Dolphins rumors, which turned out might be more to it than just rumors. Was a chance for him to go to play in Miami or, in elsewhere. I'm sure it might have been explored as well. The whole Bruce Arians thing, Todd Bowles taking over, that also is a little bit weird. So, I mean, there's been a lot, I think, that's kind of gone into it with different personalities, different offers. So we kind of have that to look forward to. And it almost, I guess it adds a little bit of an element to watching Tom Brady this year. Just knowing that when he's got that job security once he's out, and he's a guy that you would think, could just about land any job he wanted to. So for this to be his next choice, I think is fascinating, and I'm sure he'll be working on his own craft to get to a position where he's ready to roll.
Well, Dirk is another one of those, right? That had the long tenured career, gets out, retires, and shortly lands the GM job. Works alongside Michael Finley. Brings in Jason Kidd. You see how they're keeping it in the family? Mm-hmm. Listen, that is an element that is starting to change out there, I think, in the landscape of sports, because it really does create a family buy-in. Everybody's looking for the same thing. Everybody's striving for the same. Obviously, if you don't do your job, you can land on the block, but not literally on the block like here. But we would love to have you. But if you want to jump on the block, we would take you. But but you understand what I'm saying. It's that dynamic is working for some people. It's working for some organizations. Jason Kidd had some talent when he was up in Milwaukee. I don't think it's to the same level as it is with Dallas, but he's figured it out. But he's also got the backing, and he's got the atmosphere in which they're working, in cohesion to try to accomplish the goal, and who to bring in and who fits, and those conversations that I think some other coaches didn't have with GMs before and prior. So that's good that those types of things are happening out there.
What is fascinating too with Brady is the fact that he doesn't have anything left to prove. Like there'll still be some people like on the text line saying he's not the GOAT and stuff like that. But as far as accomplishments goes, it's hard to argue.
Fight him. I used to fight him. I'm with you. I used to fight him. I'm like, man, please. Oh, please. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Well, dang.
At some point, you just go, my goodness, this guy's it. He's the man. And he did it again last year. And that's what kind of made the retirement a little bit questionable or surprising, was that he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league statistically. I'm not just throwing out there my opinion. He statistically is, and obviously won the Super Bowl without Belichick. So it's like, what's left for him to prove? And there's nothing. All he can do is further the gap between him and whoever's behind him. I suppose you always kind of think that with your records, you might live long enough to see them surpassed. But man, is it going to take quite a career, put together to catch up to him. So that's all he's kind of got left out there. But I suppose if you're that competitive and that you can still win a Super Bowl, maybe that's his driving force, is that, hey, I can still do this thing.
Think about what he could have did with that Rams team. Oh yeah. With them weapons like that. I could understand his frustration, because it was like some in some ways it was like some internal sabotage. Like it was kind of like weapons were being yanked from him, and then you have Fournette injured, and you had all these things, and he had to work around it and still got them there and had them on the verge of breaking through, losing Antonio Brown, which was one of his premier weapons. It just seemed all the way across the board, everything was stacked against him in that particular set. I could only imagine what it would have looked like if he would have had the weapons, that was out there in LA with the Rams. My
Well,
God.
and maybe that, as I'm thinking through it, could be part of what is still pushing him. Again, it's hard to say because after you win a title in Tampa, when I say there's nothing left to prove, I mean, there really isn't much there. I mean, but the one thing that could be is maybe just further driving the stake into the hearts of all the GMs that when he was on the block going away from New England, there's a lot of people that said he's too old and you might get 2 years out of him. We're not, a lot of GMs around the league weren't going to take a chance at Tom Brady. As silly as that sounds, that's the way it was. And so maybe that's still what's driving him. But yeah, that's the one thing I wonder about the Bucs roster at this point. They used a lot of rentals. They used a lot of veterans to win that championship a few years ago. And, sometimes it's just about who stays healthy. And obviously they didn't stay healthy last year. I don't know if, there's so much movement over there. I suppose the NFC is weaker than the AFC. I'll give him that. But I don't know if the Bucs is a championship roster is what I'm getting at. But he obviously chose to go back. And now with Todd Bowles taking over.
Yeah, so we're gonna watch it closely, but just understand and know that he landed a great deal, and that is something that would be just phenomenal to know that once you're done and once you're finished, that you can still do the thing that you love to do and talk about the sports that you love. That's why I love being on the block. I love being on the block because I get to talk about the things that I love so much. And a lot of people don't understand that I'm just not a basketball guy. I'm a football, I'm a baseball. I could play soccer. I shoot. I can do lacrosse. And there's all types of stuff that I just love about the sport. I mean, actually, I was down there in Miami, intrigued and kind of spot watching Formula One racing. I just love sport. You know what I mean? Period. It doesn't matter. If I could skate, I would be like Cedric the Entertainer skating on the like he had on his show when he was at the Kings of Comedy. And basically what he did, Bach, we got to go to break. I'm not going to hold this story on. But he, in the Kings of Comedy, he said, if I wasn't playing hockey, I would just be like that, the defender, right? That just skates around just looking for trouble. I'm just skating, and I wish somebody would. And that's how I would be, man. I would be a defender, and I would just be looking to whose head I was going to be able to knock off if you come down here. That's how I would play hockey.
That's how I play hockey on video games, at least. I don't know how they do in real life.
We got to take a break right now on the block. We'll be back. We'll come back and talk a little bit about hitting the hardwood. Still some great series out there. Some things happen. The Grizzlies lost their bear growl at the end of the game. We'll talk a little bit about that as well when we come back on the block right here, 93.7, The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Peace.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Expect decreasing cloud cover, not quite as hot today as we'll be topping out near 83. Winds out of the northeast, a little breezy at 15 to 20. Partly cloudy tonight with a low down to 63. Slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow morning, then becoming hot and windy as we'll top out near 92. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Join us at Cactus by Venue for our new America's Favorites menu. We're keeping your favorite dips and tacos and adding brand new dishes, including delicious steaks, burgers, pastas, and more. Focusing on vibrant casual dining using a blend of fresh ingredients prepared from scratch. Located at 56 and Highway 2 in the Edgewood Shopping Center, see the whole menu online at cactusbyvenue.com and order yours to go at venuedelivered.com. Cactus by Venue, America's Favorites.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Are you sick of mindlessly running on a treadmill or the lack of motivation to consistently work out? Whatever your challenge, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping can help. Whether you want to lose weight, boost energy, or simply improve your overall health, you'll fit right in at Farrell's regardless of age or abilities. Build endurance with their kickboxing and strength training group fitness classes while also getting nutrition coaching. Try Farrell's now for a free week. Visit fxblincoln.com or call Jeff at 402-310-4026. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
Springtime is here, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams. From treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway.
Brown Shoe Fit is gearing up for spring with new inventory on the way. They're stocking up on new spring sandals and athletic shoes daily in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Keen, Merrell, On, and many, many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Atrax. Spring is the season to be active and busy. Don't let your feet lose their support with old rundown shoes or sandals. Stop by Brown's Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Hey, it's Nelson. Isn't it a great feeling when a company has your budget in mind instead of trying to squeeze it all out of you? That's why Caterpillar Vapes has been voted a fan favorite among premium e-juice, CBD, and Delta 8 customers year after year. And now they're here in Lincoln. Returning customers are always enjoying weekly deals and perks, and new Caterpillar Vapes customers get 50% off their entire first purchase. A company that cares about their customers. Crazy, right? In a hurry? Try the drive-thru. Caterpillar Vapes, 2601 North 11th Street, and online at caterpillarvapes.com.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bog on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back on the block. Once again, we're here. And we have some information to talk about on hitting the hardwood. Some games that had transpired on last night. We see that there was a final between Boston and Milwaukee, which ties the game at 2-2, or the series at 2-2. Boston was able to overcome a tremendous run and looked like they were going to pull it out at home against Milwaukee, 116-108. We'll talk about that in a second. The Heat have Game 5 starting tonight on TNT at 7:30, and they'll be back in. Actually, they're in Miami for this game, and it looks like this series is going to be one that's going to be tough. We'll talk about that in 1 second as well. And one that transpired on last night, the Golden State Warriors were able to pull it out to go up 3-1 against the Memphis Grizzlies without Ja Morant. And the Phoenix Suns pulled out a big one to even that series out as well. And they'll play again tonight based on the turmoil that had happened between Chris Paul and everything with the fan that was there. That's going to be tough. That's probably going to ignite a fire under him, I'm sure. But there's some good series that are out there right now. The only one that's really looking kind of, a little topsy-turvy is the Memphis Grizzlies. So we'll start there. Memphis Grizzlies ends up coming up short again, 101 to 98. And the talk in this specific situation was no Ja Morant with the knee injury that they're saying was basically sparked by Jordan Poole. But, to me, it didn't look that way on film. But let's really be real about it. Ja Morant is averaging 38 points a game, and losing that amount of firepower to include the fact that he's shooting over 50% from 2 and 43% from 3, 86% from the free throw line, averaging 7 rebounds and 8 assists. My gosh, and 3 steals. That is like a stat line and a number that it's tough for any team to overcome. But yet, this Grizzly team fought. They found themselves in the game. They were trying to count on the next best solution, because on this team, there is nobody else that is averaging in double figures except Jaren Jackson Jr., who is averaging 20 points. They tried to go to him and ended up coming up short, but he's only shooting 36%. So could you really be expecting too much more when you're trying to go to him in the closing seconds? They come up short. Is Ja Morant the reason for the seasons of this growling bear coming up with no growl upon it? Or is it just that they don't have a go-to guy? What is it, Bob?
Yeah, I thought that they really missed him in the closing moments last night. Much has been made about how the Grizzlies actually have a better record and points per game and win differential and all that stuff without Ja Morant on the court as opposed to when he is. And so you kind of wonder about his future with that showing. Is it's similar to Russell Westbrook or John Wall, where it's a lot of numbers and incredible athleticism, but is it making the team better, or is it a guy getting a lot of stats? That's still to be determined. He's too young probably to figure that out. But I will say this: he was missing the final moments last night, and you wonder if he was, even 50% if you could throw him out there, like Joel Embiid. I don't think he's quite 100%, but he is what he is, and they're throwing him out there. Obviously, they didn't feel that way quite yet, but I mean, that's what it was. Dillon Brooks was just chucking up air ball shots that he probably shouldn't have been taking. Jaren Jackson forced the 3 when they had more time to kind of get into something a little bit better. They weren't ready for that situation. Golden State, on the other hand, is completely ready for this situation. You got veterans that have taken bigger shots than that, a lot of more, bigger moments. Steph Curry kind of took over there late in the game. For what it's worth, Steve Kerr was not there. So it was a bit of a twist there for Golden State, and Mike Brown, who's now the new Sacramento Kings head coach, had to take over. He's done that before, obviously, for Golden State as well. But I was honestly cheering for the Grizzlies a little bit just to continue the great playoff series that we've had. Everything's tied up 2-2, except for that series, and it was so close to doing so, but you could tell they can play with Golden State. They can play with anybody in this league. But when you talk about winning games in the regular season and closing those against Golden State in the playoffs, it's a different thing. So they might be better without Ja Morant, or, statistically can play, and they can still play with you. But I think that last night in the closing moments, that's when they really missed him.
There's no question about it. I mean, so for example, on the other side of things, you have a team that basically, even without Klay Thompson doing what Klay Thompson normally do in being a good Robin to Batman, and Steph Curry, Steph is averaging about 28 points. Then, I don't know who to call who he is, the Green Lantern or whatever the case may be, but Jordan Poole is averaging 23 points, and Wiggins is the third guy, that is getting busy for them. That makes them dangerous. When you have those 4 guys and Klay Thompson, to include your 5th guy is Draymond Green, but he's putting up numbers that makes it tough for any team to have to deal with. Steph Curry's averaging almost 7 assists a game. Then you have Jordan Poole next at 5. Those 2 guys not even Klay Thompson is like being that guy. He's not even playing very well, shooting 25% from 3 and 34 from 2. But then Draymond steps in and gets you 6 assists. That's tough. He's only averaging 4 points, but he's getting 6 assists and almost 8 rebounds a game. So, they're just different, man. They're just a different team. And then you have what you said, the big play guys, and Steph Curry with 45 seconds in the game, he converts 8 free throws. Yeah. That's the game.
And that could ultimately be the difference. Jordan Poole led the league this year at 92%. So, I mean, if their goal at the end of these games, if it comes down to free throws, you're going to have to foul Poole or Curry. I mean, they're going to draw it up so that either one of them gets the ball. They're going to train them all. And I see the Warriors. I think that they'll come out of the West. And I think that's one of the primary reasons for that. I mean, you just don't have a choice at the end. They're going to drain free throws. And at worst, Klay Thompson goes to the line,
Right. So obviously, I mean, Ja Morant is a big piece of that right there that they're losing. But at the end of the day, they weren't able to get it done. And listen, Golden State goes up with a 3-1 lead. So I don't know. I think this one may be a wrap. But, I think there's some spark and some spunk in Memphis. I don't think they'll just lay down. So it'll be interesting. One of the things that I find good right now is this 2-2 series with Phoenix and Dallas, even with the turmoil and the controversies that are going on in the arena. Devin Booker tweaks a hamstring, the same thing that basically Kyle Lowry did. And so now Devin Booker, he's playing 40 minutes a game, after tweaking a hammy. That is awesome for me. I think that's just tremendous of his resilience and his abilities. He's young still, so he's able to heal a little bit better than Kyle Lowry, who's obviously in his mid-30s. But, he's shooting 45%. But the thing that's turning me on about not turning me on, but what I mean?
You're a little into it.
But I'm a little into it is Devin Booker shooting 52% from the 3 and almost 90% from the free throw line. And he gets there pretty often. And so, you've got great balance on that team. I mean, there's 6 guys in double figures. So that makes them tough. But it just seems that this Dallas Mavericks team was just a little bit tougher. I mean, they hit big shot after shot, and Luka Doncic just basically took over, almost averaging a triple-double in this series right now and averaging 33 points a game and still have 5 guys in double. That means they're getting shots up and they're making them at a high clip.
Yeah, I thought that this series was over after 2, and they always warn you of that. Wait till somebody wins on the other team's home court before you start calling it a series. And that's what's happened. Dallas bounced back, but it's interesting to see if they can get that sort of help that Doncic has had in Phoenix as he did in Dallas, because that wasn't happening so much. Game 3, you had 4 other guys in double figures beside Doncic, and Game 4, you had 5. So the help is stepping up, and that was not there in the first 2 games, and that's why I didn't think they had a chance. But it's coming on. Maybe they're playing better ball. Maybe it's the home calls. Maybe it's the home environment, all that stuff. We might see tonight, but I can't wait to see that. As far as the other stuff going on there, Chris Paul, it sounds like Chris Paul's family, they take off the kid that was bothering Chris Paul's family. It sounds like he might have been a bit inebriated and continuing to attempt to hug and tell his mother Happy Mother's Day. So, if you saw the video, it's kind of weird. Everybody's looking at him, and they had to escort him out of there. But at least it's badgering more so than obviously what we've seen other fans doing in the past. But so I don't know. I expect that story probably to go away pretty quickly. But at the same time, you don't want to get Chris Paul upset because he had the game in the series already where he was perfect from the field, 14 of 14 or whatever it was.
Well, the crazy thing about this game is it's happened before where he had more turnovers than he had points. But in this specific game, he had more fouls than he had points because he fouls out, but he only had 4 points. So it's crazy dynamic. And like you said, his turnaround games have been phenomenal. So watch out for that as they go back to Phoenix to tidy that up in Game 5. This is the one that intrigues me as well, is the Sixers against the Heat. Without Joel Embiid and with Joel Embiid. And they just look totally different when Joel Embiid's in the game. One of the things that I found intriguing was that when you look at the stats of the team with Joel Embiid, right, everything is pretty synonymous, pretty close. And I'm going to show you the difference. The points per game with Joel Embiid is about 111 points. They rebound the same, 42. Their assists are the same, 24 and 23 without. Their steals are better without Joel Embiid, obviously, but only really by a 0.3 percentage points. And their blocks, obviously, the crazy thing is their blocks are even up without Joel Embiid, and one percentage point over that. Their field goal percentage, taken, made, all of that stuff is the same. 3-point, you just go down the board. Free throw percentage is all the same. The difference, you ready for the difference? The difference is the amount of free throws taken, 5 more with Joel Embiid. And that's because Joel Embiid leads the league in getting to the free throw line at like 11.8 times per game, right? So there's 5 more free throws taken, and that's the difference in their points per game. That with Joel Embiid is 110, without him is 105, and he gets there more often. And that's the difference in this game that I saw so it makes a difference having him as opposed to having him not. And that opened up the floodgates for the beard, James Harden, to step in and have a big game finally.
Yeah, that's a good point. And both those guys, I mean, it's not just Embiid that you're working with at the foul line. It's Harden as well. I mean, they'll get you in foul trouble. Miami can combat that a little bit. They're probably the deepest team in the league, or at least probably have the best 7-man rotation in the league. But it's interesting to me that the Heat don't really have too much of a home court advantage, which is maybe why they did great in the bubble. Is that it's Miami. There's not a little, there's a lot more to do there, whatever the excuse you want to have. We kind of go that through with LA and their spring game football with USC and all that stuff. But regardless, without LeBron James, I mean, they were basically spoiled with LeBron James. And even then, they didn't always sell out their arenas, or people would show up late or leave early and all that stuff. I don't know. I mean, I guess they're used to it. I suppose with you play for the Heat, you're kind of understanding of that, but it doesn't leave a daunting environment. So when I think of, okay, well, maybe this series takes a turn now that Embiid's back, but they're going back to Miami. I don't really see it with Kyle Lowry still healing up. I think he's a really important player for crunch time. They've got some other options down that bench, but especially, I mean, Joel, you're not going to get 40 points every night from Butler. It's really special when he goes off, and they didn't take advantage of it and get a win. So I think the 76ers have completely turned this series around, and maybe there's a little bit of respect still left out there for Doc Rivers.
So we'll see. Right now, we'll see. But hopefully that series will continue to be a great one. Let's turn to the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks at home come up short against to really open it up and make this make it a real troubling series potentially for the Boston Celtics. But they were able to get it done on the backs of both Jason Tatum and Al Horford, who both had 30 points. But Al Horford going nuts from three, making, I think, 5 of 7 in the game. That was huge for him. And I think what ticked him off was a drive down the lane by Giannis Antetokounmpo, and bangs on him, really not on him, but he was in the vicinity, says something to him, and then he just starts shaking his head like, okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that the teammates say, Marcus Smart made a statement that he is one of the best veterans that you play with. He's very just all about his business. He rarely shows emotion, and he goes baseline on Giannis, bangs on his head, and just goes crazy with emotion. And I thought that was a tremendous moment for the Celtics and for them to get it done, even with Jaylen Brown in foul trouble.
Yeah, and that's one thing they're going to have to still fight there is foul trouble. Giannis is impossible to guard if he wants to go to the hoop one-on-one. And without Robert Williams, that's another thing to pay attention to. I know he's not the most household name for the Celtics across the nation, but he's probably their second best, their best rim protector and one of their best defenders there. Marcus Smart, obviously defensive player of the year, probably takes that, but he doesn't have the size to guard Antetokounmpo. Horford can't stay in front of Antetokounmpo, so that is a problem. Even though Horford kind of went off defensively, he kind of got in foul trouble himself because of that, and that's something, he's not alone. That's a very difficult guy. But the fact that they have Grant Williams, I mean, mean, they can throw a lot of bodies at him. I just think they need Robert Williams back in that rotation to keep up with him. And it was fantastic though to see Al Horford go off like that. People forget to. I know he's signed the big deal with the Sixers and then got traded around a bit, and so maybe you forgot about him. But a few years ago when Kyrie Irving wasn't there, the first year of Kyrie Irving, he missed the playoffs. He got hurt in Boston. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Al Horford led Boston to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I think a lot of us just kind of look over that. Yeah, Horford was there and the young guys did it. But Horford hit a lot of important buckets there. And that's why I praised not Danny Ainge anymore, but Brad Stevens, the GM, for looking back, getting guys that worked well with this roster, these pieces in the past, and going out and getting them. So they basically got rid of the Kemba Walker contract and traded it for the Al Horford contract. There's, at the time, it wasn't like, well, that's a huge win for them. I guess it gives them some depth inside, but he's showing up. I mean, playoff Big Al is a thing, and he's showing up, and that dunk that he had and elbowed Antetokounmpo was the highlight of the night for me.
Well, definitely don't overlook Tatum, who had 13 rebounds, 5 assists, as well as after bouncing back from a poor performance in the 103-101 loss in Game 3, where he only had 10 points on 4 of 19 shooting. So that's something to show that he had bounced back, and he made it a statement for himself to make sure that his team had an opportunity to win this game and not at the last second as they did last time. So that's a big kudos to them. Good look for the Boston Celtics. These games are tied up. The ones that are in trouble is obviously the Memphis Grizzlies. We have to take a break. We thank you again. We'll be right back to finish up the segment, talk a little bit of football, maybe, after this.
Old School with DP and J.
When you talked about NIL, you're talking about stupid money that these kids are getting. 99.9% of them aren't worth it, but I'm all for it, to take advantage of it. If they're giving it, might as well take it, but appreciate it. Don't go around I call it playing Halloween. You put on a uniform, you put on the eye black, you put on the wristband, you wear, say, like Nebraska uniforms. You're dressing up as a football player. Just because you're dressing up as a football player does not make you entitled to anything.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Early break with Sip and Jake.
Yeah, we're joined by Yoshi Hardrick, former Nebraska offensive lineman, currently a Winnipeg Blue Bomber of the CFL, two-time champion. What was it like going from the Big 12 to the Big 10 one year to the next?
Well, my first defensive end was 280 to 300 pounds. And every team we played had 2 tight ends in. Yeah. I was like, we're about to play some football.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Brown Shoe Fit is gearing up for spring with new inventory on the way. They're stocking up on new spring sandals and athletic shoes daily in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Keen, Merrell, On, and many, many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Atrax. Spring is the season to be active and busy. Don't let your feet lose their support with old rundown shoes or sandals. Stop by Brown's Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Hey, it's Nelson. We all know life gets a little hectic. You're just looking for that right amount of balance for stress relief with your busy lifestyle while trying to not break the bank. That's why you got to stop by the newest Caterpillar Vapes location right here in Lincoln, 2601 North 11th Street. The Caterpillar team is made up of people just like you, wanting the best product at the best price. They can walk you through the largest selection in town, answer any questions, and find you that perfect balance. First-time customers get 50% off their entire purchase. Stop in and see for yourself. For more, find them on Facebook or online at CaterpillarVapes.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket. Every Saturday morning now in our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Are you sick of mindlessly running on a treadmill or the lack of motivation to consistently work out? Whatever your challenge, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping can help. Whether you want to lose weight, boost energy, or simply improve your overall health, you'll fit right in at Farrell's regardless of age or abilities. Build endurance with their kickboxing and strength training group fitness classes while also getting nutrition coaching. Try Farrell's now for a free week. Visit fxblincoln.com or call Jeff at 402-310-4026. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
Springtime is here, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams. From treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway.
Spring is here. Are you giving your yard the best chance at being healthy and green? Call Penner Sprinkler and Lawn to get your sprinklers ready to go for the season if they haven't been working properly. They're also scheduling installs for new sprinkler systems if you don't have one. So make sure you contact them early to get a bid as soon as possible. Plus, they're your one place to go for 5-step fertilizer and pesticide application and lawn aeration. Call Penner Sprinkler and Lawn today at 402-413-1215.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wrapping up things here on the block as Strick is getting his dance on. He's getting ready here. Probably going to go out to the dance floor here after this.
Wait, is it Thursday?
No, not quite yet. We still got a day and 2 days really to wait till Thursday, but he can still drink a little bit.
Kevin Meyer, I love Kevin Meyer Thursday, but that's okay. We're going to have a good one.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to that. Also looking forward to ticket weeknights tonight. Carter Longy and Harrison Arns coming up next. Sam Griesel, the new Nebraska basketball, maybe starting point guard. Looks like he might probably get the start one way or the other. North Dakota State transfer set to join them at 7:30. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. I wanted to get a few headlines in before we head out. Not the most time in the world, but we do have a few more minutes to do it. So let's go ahead. This coming out within the last hour. The Grizzlies say Ja Morant is now doubtful for the remainder of the playoffs. He's got a bruise in his right knee. As we know, the knee problems is what's going to be holding him up. Do you see, I mean, obviously you don't want to question injuries, but I mean, they're one game from being out. Do you see them being able to push the Warriors at all now after watching them struggle without a closer last night?
Man, I just laid out the stat line, man. The stats don't lie. I mean, they're going to need not one, they're going to need two people to step up. Hopefully you would get that from Desmond Bane or I don't know who. Well, he's only playing like 17-minute Ryan Anderson, but he looked like he was a tough matchup for them. And maybe they need to go to him a little bit more, but they need to find two options in order to create some of that point differential.
It's interesting, too, now that the NFL has announced they're going to have a triple header on Christmas. It'll be the third straight year now the NFL has played on Christmas. Takes a little bit away, in my mind, at least growing up. It was the NBA. Day. That's kind of the start of the NBA season. Not officially. They've already have played a bunch of games then. But now football taking over. The NFL is not going to let anybody have any more days. They're just going to take over and have a game every day of the calendar year.
Listen, man. Packers Christmas Day victory over the Browns averaged 28.6 million viewers on Fox. And then after that, I mean, in a regular season game as well, the Colts win over the Cardinals. They average almost 13 million on NFL Network, which is the second highest viewed game on that history of that channel. So Listen, them jumping in on Christmas Day, man, is gonna change a lot of eyes and probably put a lot on the football games as opposed to, I'm sure, the basketball games, unless they put a crazy matchup together that makes people watch. But I don't think they can match those viewers.
Well, no, an NBA regular season just isn't as important as NFL regular season, especially, I mean, they're not just throwing out, the bottom barrel of the NFL. They have the Broncos play the Rams. I think I'll probably be watching that game as much as I am a little upset the NFL takes over everything. But, I would too. If I'm that business, I try to drown everybody out. You're the king of basically business in America. So go ahead and do it. So that's kind of interesting too. Spurs owner Peter J. Holt insists the team is going to stay in San Antonio amid plans to play a few games in Austin. There's been a bit of a fear that with Austin, a growing city, they might jump over there. But San Antonio, a smaller market city, sure, but they're too well established, I think, as far as one of the better franchises in the NBA. So, I mean, I would hate to say the day that they move.
They've always done it right, man. They've been very good. They've maintained great salary cap, what's the word I'm looking for? Where they manage the salary cap well. Let me just say that. And they've drafted well, and they've raised up their team, used the D League well, the G League well. So they're a good franchise. They're solid. They're very economical in the way they handle business.
Yeah, and the NCAA also today is working on fighting back at NIL. They now established the definition of a booster includes collectives set up to funnel name, image, and likeness deals to prospective student athletes or enrolled student athletes who might be considered transferring. So they're going after collectives, not the greatest thing. Nebraska has some collectives on their own, but it is what it is. And we'll get your opinion on that tomorrow, I guess, right? Because we're actually running out of time. But thanks for joining us today on The Block. Once again, Ticket Weeknights coming up. If you want to listen to Sam Griesel, one of the newest Husker commits, he will be on at 7:30 with the guys. Coming up next on Ticket Weeknights. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Work, laundry, dishes. I was